Did you know that most of the most unusual animals on the planet are endangered species? How many species are dying out every hour, day, year? If not, then we will tell you about the 10 most unusual animals on our planet. The kittiglove or king heron is a very large bird. Its average height is 1.2 meters, wingspan is 2.3 meters, and its weight is from 4 to 7 kilograms. Inhabits the tropical swamps of East Africa. The shoe-like large beak allows the whalehead to skillfully catch fish. The same beak prevents the bird from getting any other food. The eyes of the whalehead are located in the front of the skull and not on both sides, as in most birds. This allows him to see everything in volume. Whaleheads are rare birds, their number is about 10,000. Man destroys the habitat of these birds and ravages their nests. The species is listed in the Red Book. Kittiglove was discovered in 1849, less than a year later it was already scientifically described. Glass frogs are a family of tailless amphibians. At first glance, it seems that these frogs are completely ordinary. But if you look at their bellies, you can understand why they are called glass. All internal organs are visible through the abdomens of frogs. Their belly skin is transparent. For the first time, Europeans discovered these frogs in 1872 in Ecuador. Representatives of this family can be found in the northwestern part of South America, in Central America, and in several other areas of South America. At the moment, more than 150 species of glass frogs have been described. Glass frogs are usually not very large, ranging in size from 3 to 7.5 centimeters. Such frogs live, as a rule, on trees and mountain forests, and only during the breeding season they reach the water. Glass frogs lay their eggs on the leaves of trees or shrubs that grow directly above the water, although stones near waterfalls are more attractive for one species to lay eggs. One way or another, as soon as the tadpoles hatch from the eggs, they immediately fall into the water from a height and then live and develop in the water. The platypus is one of the most unusual animals in the world. The platypus is the only modern member of the platypus family. The platypus belongs to the class of mammals. This unique animal is one of the symbols of Australia. The platypus is depicted on the reverse of the Australian 20 cent. The platypus was first discovered in the 18th century during the colonization of New South Wales. At that time it was identified as an amphibious animal of the genus of moles. The skin of a platypus was first brought to England in 1797, when the unusual animal caused fierce controversy in the scientific community. At first, the hide was considered a fake by a taxidermist. But doubts were dispelled by George Shaw, who examined the skin for the presence of stitches and did not find them. He also gave the name to the new species in 1799. The platypus is a poisonous mammal. Males have spurs on their hind legs, from which toxins are released during the mating season. Platypus venom can kill a small animal, but not a person. In a person, it will cause severe pain and edema forms at the injection site, which spreads to the entire limb. Tapirs are herbivores from the order of equid-hoofed animals, resembling in appearance a pig with a trunk. The average size of tapirs is about 2 meters long, about a meter high, and weighs from 100 to 300 kilograms. Previously, tapirs were very common, but today there are only 5 species left. Tapirs are widespread in Central and South America and in Southeast Asia. Despite the large number of predators that feed on tapirs, the main enemy of tapirs is humans. The hunt for tapirs for meat and leather has reduced their population. Tapirs are threatened with extinction. Tapirs are listed in the Red Book. This amazing creature lives in the forests of Madagascar. It is quite difficult to notice it because it looks like a dry leaf in its body shape and color. For the red eyes of some individuals, they got the name fantastic or satanic geckos. The habitat of this species is the north and center of Madagascar. The body length of adults is from 9 to 14 centimeters, most of which is occupied by a long flat tail, similar to a leaf. The color of the gecko can range from gray and brown to green and yellow. This type of gecko was first discovered in 1888 by the Belgian naturalist George Albert Boulenger. The species is endangered due to uncontrolled capture and destruction of their natural habitat. The star-nosed, or star-nosed, is a very unusual mammal that lives in North America. On the face of the star-nosed nose there are 22 skin growths in the shape of a star. Such a nose is adapted for digging underground passages and works excellently as an organ of touch. The rays of the nose move very quickly, checking all objects in their path for edibility. The animals swim well and find food, not only on the ground, but also in the water. They mainly feed on worms, mollusks, larvae, and small crustaceans. Natural enemies of star-nosed animals, owls and other birds of prey, mustelids and skunks. Human activity has greatly reduced the natural range of starfish. However, star noses are not a rare endangered species. The ragpicker seahorse, or the ragpicker, is a type of marine ray-finned fish from the needle family. The body length can reach 35 centimeters. A distinctive feature of the fish are numerous flat translucent shoots that imitate algae thalli. These outgrowths are needed to hide from enemies. The ragpicker moves with the help of the pectoral and dorsal fins. These small fins are almost completely transparent. They sway very often, up to 10 times per second, providing a measured sway of the fish on the waves, creating the illusion of floating algae. The maximum travel speed is up to 150 meters an hour. It lives on the southeastern and southwestern coasts of Australia and the waters of the Indian Ocean. They are usually found in shallow waters at a depth of 4 to 30 meters. It feeds on plankton, mysids, algae. Ragpickers are under threat of destruction due to industrial emissions, as well as becoming specimens of the collections of amateur divers. Protected by the Australian government. The Australian echidna is a species of oviparous mammals of the Echidnova family. The only representative of the echidna genus. The Australian echidna was first described in 1792 by the English zoologist George Shaw, who also gave the name to the species, mistakenly reckoned among the anteaters. After 10 years, Edward Home discovered a similar feature in the echidna and the platypus acloca. On the basis of this discovery, a detachment of monotremes was identified. The Australian echidna is found in Australia, Tasmania, New Guinea and the islands in the Bass Strait. Outwardly, the echidna most of all looks like a hedgehog. Its entire body is covered with hard coarse hairs, and the sides and back are studded with long, from 5 to 6 centimeters, yellow needles with black tips. In length, the Australian echidna grows up to 50 centimeters, while weighing up to 7 kilograms. The tail and ears are so small that they are practically invisible. The muzzle of the echidna is very elongated, up to 7.5 centimeters in length, and plays an extremely important role in the life of the animal, since its vision is poorly developed and the environment is mostly colonized through smell and hearing. The mouth, which is a very small hole at the end of the muzzle, has no teeth, but it accommodates a sticky tongue that is 25 centimeters long. With the help of such a tool, the echidna obtains its own food, consisting of termites, ants, worms and other small insects, in which it looks like a giant anteater. Powerful front legs, equipped with claws, allow it to destroy the walls of termite mounds, after which the tongue is used. Australian echidnas are nocturnal and very secretive. Its main protection is thorns. The disturbed echidna curls up into a ball, like a hedgehog, and if it has time, it partially buries itself in the ground, exposing the enemy's back with raised needles. It is very difficult to pull the echidna out of the dug hole, since it strongly rests on its paws and needles. The Australian echidna is common in Australia and Tasmania, and is not an endangered species. Echidnas tolerate captivity well, but do not breed. Only 5 zoos manage to get offspring of the Australian echidna. Kiwa hirsuta. Her yeti crab was first discovered in 2005 at a depth of 2,228 meters in the South Pacific Ocean, 1,500 kilometers from Easter Island. An expedition led by Robert Brienhick and Michel Sagonzak, while diving aboard the manned underwater vehicle Alvin, observed these large white crayfish around active hydrothermal vents several times. The 15-centimeter body of a crayfish is covered with numerous feathery bristles, which contain filamentous bacteria that purify water from compounds toxic to cancer and also possibly serve as food for it. The dropfish is one of the most bizarre ocean deep-sea fish and is endemic to Australia. It inhabits a depth of 600 to 1,200 meters off the coast of Australia. The size of the dropfish is about 30-35 centimeters, up to 60. The body of the dropfish is jelly-like and watery, which is why it got this name. The fish lacks developed muscles, it swims with open mouth, or sits in one place and swallows small invertebrates. The species is poorly studied. Despite its unpresentable appearance, the inhabitants of Asian countries consider the meat of drop fish to be a delicacy. Threatened by the expansion of deep-sea fisheries, as it is increasingly caught in the nets along with crabs and lobsters. The structure of the front of the head leaves the impression that the fish is constantly frowning and has an unhappy facial expression, which is why the fish takes first place in the ratings of the strangest creatures. Due to its unusual appearance, the fish has become a popular character in internet memes and is often included in the lists of the most bizarre creatures. In fact, there are many more amazing and bizarre animals in the world, but it is impossible to put them all in one small rating. About 3 species die out every hour, every day more than 70, every year more than 26,000.